Anyway, so what I thought I would do today is something pretty simple. So let me run this program that I've been working on during the past couple demos and stuff. And I'm not going to really show anything about it. It does a lot more than what you see here, but hey, I can move this dude around. Great, right? And if I hit escape, it quits the game. And, we're starting to get more real about developing this game, so I figured it would be a good idea to start putting more of the real game stuff in there, like, for example, a menu. So I just want to stream for a few hours and get as far as I can down the road of making a menu for this game. I'm not really going to do an overview of the whole source code before we dive in because there's a lot of it. There's 30,000 lines already, right? So I'm just going to maybe talk about parts as they come up. So here I've got this enum for what are the different modes that the program could be in. So this is if you're playing the game. And this is if you're in the editor, because I like to have the game and the editor be the same. Let's see what happens. I haven't maintained the editor, but oh yeah. If I try to go to the editor, we crash right now with a failed assertion. So, we're going to add one now for menu. And, well, yeah, let's just get into that. So I'm going to make a thing called toggle menu that just says using program mode members if mode is equal to game, program mode equals menu, else program mode equals game. So I might have to think about this more later, like what if what if we want to be able to go to the menu from the editor and back, but that's, not usually something that we do. So, yeah, we might want to do more stuff here later, like play sounds for opening and closing the menu and stuff, and we'll get to that. But for now, we're just putting in this concept, and let's see. I want to find the place where I draw things. Here we go. So if the program mode is game, else if program mode dot menu, draw menu. Otherwise, we'll draw the editor. I should put these in a menu file. Draw menu. We're going to say print drawing menu, just so we know when we got there. And we got to include this file. So menu, and let's add that to source control. Whoops. Source. All right. So let's build. I didn't capital M there. By the way, I haven't gone all the way. I could, right now I'm hitting F7 and F5 in the console here to build and run. I could just make that work from Emacs, but I'm so tired of trying to make Emacs do things, and I just haven't summoned the mental will to figure out how to go do that. So, so I'll be switching to a console just to hit keys to run things when I could do it from Emacs. Emacs has just destroyed my willpower. All right, so, okay, so that compiles, that's great. But, it's not going to do anything new if we run it, because if I hit escape, it still exits the game because, we haven't actually hooked the menu up to anything. So let's go. So the place where I do most input right now is this player control file. I had a scope export up there because public didn't used to be the default, but it is now. So yeah. Although actually I could put some stuff here into file scope. I think I can, let me just try this. Scope file, because this stuff seems private. Scope export. No? Oh right, key info is a struct that people want to know about. So that's got to be exported. Oh. Huh. What is that? I guess okay. All right, these things are not as, I may want to make them more private later, but right now they're not very private. So it's always good to, yep. I'm not sure why I'm doing it, but I felt the need to do key repeat stuff outside this file. All right. So we're just going to make this little bit of stuff private at the bottom of the file. That's fine. It's not really what we came here to do. So what we did come here to do is what happens when people press escape. So right now, if you're in the overworld, we quit the game, otherwise you go to the overworld, and we're not going to do any of that. The way you're going to quit the game now is from the menu. So we're going to say toggle menu, right? So that's great. And I hit escape, and it probably will stop, like the water will probably stop animating because we're not drawing anymore, and our console will freak out saying in menu, yeah. Oh, but for some reason we draw the menu 4 times and then exit, which I don't understand. Huh. That's weird. Why are we doing that? Oh, because we're not, right, because the key release, so we get a key press and a key release event. And yeah, we were doing stuff on the press and the release, which is not what you want. All right, so I'm gonna hit escape. There we go. Now we're spamming out, drawing the menu. You notice the water animating in the background is frozen, if you can see that on the stream. Then I'm gonna hit escape again, and now it started again, and I can move around. So now we just have to make a menu mode. Let's go to HUD and copy some lines. So if I go to menu, so this is OpenGL that I'm using to draw. So like I want to set a matrix and I want to set a shader, but we're not doing that in this file. Let's go to draw. That's got stuff. So we'll clear the screen by setting the GL clear color to like purple or violet, which is not a color we're using anywhere else, right? This is red, green, blue, alpha. So we're setting it to maximum green, blue. And then, oh, right. Okay. So the way that we're rendering here, we're rendering in sort of the new style that games do things, which is we're rendering like to an HDR back buffer and then resolving that to the front buffer. So what we really should do, and when we go to draw the menu, we're sort of taking over the whole draw phase from the game, but let's presume we're going to want to do a nice menu with like 3D objects and stuff. So we want to go to like the HDR back buffer, we'll clear the screen, or the HDR off-screen buffer. We'll clear the screen, we'll resolve the LDR, and that should work. We should get a violet screen, because swap buffers, yeah. So we swap buffers after, see, here's where we did stuff, and then this is where we page flip. So We're not going to worry about that. All right, so I'm here, and there we go. Oh, it's not violet, it's cyan. All right, green and blue. Red and blue would be violet. Green and blue is cyan. You would think, after making a game about this, that I would remember it. Okay, so that's great. I'm going to menu. It's not a very exciting menu right now, but that's menu mode. And I'll Alt F4 for now to quit the game, because that's how you quit things in Windows. Any questions about what we're doing so far? This is very straightforward. I'm just making a new mode where we can then go and do stuff. And what will I think about while... Oh, yeah. I've got too many buffers open. Is there a specific reason the game is kind of in top-down 3D? Because that is what helps the game mechanics that we need for this game. If it was in first person, it would be kind of amusing. Or maybe we should do that. That would be fun. Okay. Draw text. So we've got cyan. Then we're going to resolve to LDR. We're going to draw text on top of that. Shader text. And we'll draw text. Let's say this font is getting my favorite font at a particular size. We'll adjust all. I just want to get something on the screen. So we get some text, and effect is 0. Make that a constant. And YY, this is just some screen coordinate. Back buffer height divided by 2. Yeah, let's see. I don't have a width. So I'm trying to sort of center it. This is to center the thing in X. So I've got to get the width of the thing. So font text effect. So this will tell me how many pixels wide is what I'm going to draw, and then I draw it where I want to draw it. So, and then color. I don't remember if color is a float. Let's see if it's a float, a vector 4. It might not be. It might be an integer. Nope. All right, so menu mode. Hello, sailor. Isn't that great? Maybe we should be not italic for the menu screen. Do I find the language scaling well now that I'm dealing with a more complex program? Yes. I've been dealing with a program this complicated for like 5 or 6 months, so this is nothing new. Do I have my own shader language? No. Right now we're using OpenGL and we're using just GLSL. So if I go to, like right now, for example, I set shader text. Where was it? Yeah, the text shader here. I'll show you what that is. Shaders, text.gl. This is just very simple GLSL stuff. Because GLSL is a pain in the butt, I want everything in one file, so I have if-defs about if we want to compile the vertex shader, we compile this, otherwise we compile the fragment shader, and then This is some special stuff I added to control blend modes and things that you want to control, but that for some reason are not included in GLSL because GLSL is dumb. Yeah. Have I worked on this game in other recorded videos? No. This is the first time. Just felt like doing this today. Oh, we do also have hot loading of shaders and stuff, so this is always a good thing. So here's my text shader, right? Let's say output color.y equals 0. There we go, right? So I took all green out of the text. I can W equals 0.5. We'll fade it a little bit. Oh right, because times equals 0.5. Yeah. When we say equals 0.5, then even the translucent parts of the text get, so this is good. Like if you've gone to a website like Shader Toy or something, you get a little bit of that kind of interactivity by being able to like hot load your own shaders. Okay. So now I need to start actually making the menu into an actual menu. Let me reduce the numbers of windows on the screen. I don't need that, I don't need that. All right. So let's go back to menu. Let's make a couple of fonts. Init menu, title font equals and then body font, I don't know, I'll call that something else later maybe. That won't be italic and it'll be smaller. And these don't need to be public at all. And let's call init menu. So I call init menu at startup rather than when you open the menu for the first time, because I don't want to take lag from loading fonts. You want to load all your stuff at startup if you can. So in init game, we're going to init menu is here. It doesn't matter totally where. Oh, I left an incomplete line down here. So we'll say font is title font. Let's change the screen color, the clear color to like, I don't know, 0.3, 0.4, I don't know what that is. All right. So that's not too bad. Let's put it higher up on the screen because it's the menu title. And times 0.7, so that's going to be a float, and I need an integer, right? It's going to give me an error, yeah. Integer versus float mismatch, so we'll do that. Wait, what? Did I not save? Give him float 32. Oh, The cast is a very tight bound, so this casted that, and then it multiplied by 0.7, which is still a float. All right, let's move that up even a little more. And this is, whoops. Of course, if you're running at a different aspect ratio, we're going to want to move this. All right, so now we'll actually start making it a functional menu. If you guys don't know what Hello Sailor is, then you need to learn some video game history, okay? That's all I have to say about that. Let's make sure the other font works. So let's okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It is not publicly available yet. It will be later. Hello Sailor is more than just from Zork, but yes, that's where it comes from. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I have a whole other unreleased game that's written in C++ that probably is the simplest version of the menu system that I have laying around right now. It actually was an adaptation of the menu system from Braid, and you would think that menus are pretty straightforward, but actually, you know, when you have a lot of different platforms and you want different things to be on the menus, it gets complicated. And you know, like the menu system that we use for the witness has some inconvenient things about it that I would like to not reproduce going into the future. So I'm going to go to this menu file for this other game that you guys have never heard of. And I'm just going to, it's about 1,100 lines of 1,144 lines of C++, a lot of which is useless forward declarations. Not a lot of it, but some. All these includes that we don't need. And this actually, I don't know if I just said this, but this actually came from Braid's menu, so it's got some Braid stuff in it that it doesn't need. And you know, I could do some automatic source conversion to convert this to the new language, but I'm just going to do it procedure by procedure because I want to think about it, and I want to really, you know, part of the goal of programming an application in this language this early is so that I get a feel for how well it's working and stuff. And when you do that, you actually want to customize the code for the language that you're writing in. You don't just want to do a straight idiomatic C++ conversion. Although I don't think that would end up too different because my C++ style is pretty simple. Nevertheless, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do like a by hand conversion of some pre-existing code. All right, so this stuff, so you know in Braid how you open the menu and it kind of has an open and close shutters kind of thing? That's what this stuff is all for, and I don't need that. Let's just go to straight up. So here's the procedure that draws the main menu, and I'm just going to paste that in and delete parts of it and simplify it and all this stuff. So, whoops. I'm going to call this procedure draw menu choices, and that's going to be down at file scope. And I'm I'm not going to even pass a color. And let's ignore mouse and touch. We don't need any of that yet. We're just keyboard. We will reset the shader again, and we will, even though right now we have the right shader and the right rendering projection, that stuff can easily change as you insert code and do whatever. So since we're in sort of a new context of we're just going to draw the items on the menu that you pick from, then that's it. So what menu items are we going to have? We're going to have resume game, right? We're going to have quit. We're going to have toggle music on or off. Or maybe music volume, but toggle music's easier because we don't have to program a slider yet. And we'll have that might be enough for now. You know, we probably want an options screen and stuff. But for now, we'll just do this. So, yeah, all this is like stuff that I don't want to copy, all the scissor. Yeah, we don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. We'll keep drawing the version. That's a good thing. And we'll just draw it all the time. And for now, well, let's put something there. Wow, so this whole procedure that I copied was really not very much that we needed yet. That's fine. We'll get there. Actually, let's draw the version first. And then these things are incomplete. And when we draw the version, I'm just gonna copy this. Up to there. But we're going to draw it at different coordinates. No. So I want to draw it at the right of the screen. Whoops, back buffer width. So I want to draw the version number at the top right of the screen, basically. So the x coordinate of that is going to be, you know, the right side of the screen minus some, and this is going to be, the y coordinate is going to be back buffer height minus character height. Okay, so effect is still going to be 0. Effect is how I do stuff like, you know, this is in small caps or, you know, whatever. There's various, oh, we already defined effect to be 0. Text is going to be version x.x for now. Okay, so that's way too big because we used the wrong font. And the color, let's make the alpha like 0.4. We don't need it to be a very strong text. And in fact, we'll make it gray. So let's say K is like 0.3. So K 0.4. Draw text using the version font. And why don't we just line these up? whoops, version font. That's not right. Where was that? Oh, right here. Oh, I made it. Something happened. I can't see it anymore. Why? Okay, let's change the font back to something big. What was it called? Title font? Yeah. What did I do? Oh, there it is. It's just very faint. Okay, my alpha is too low. Probably because yeah, it's just very faint. You can see it up here in the corner. So let's jack the alpha. All right. And let's, since our foreground is bright, we're going to make it pretty dark. All right. So now, if only I had a way of dynamically adjusting this color while looking at it. All right, so that's pretty good. We'll switch back to the other font. Oh, it's really tiny up there in the corner. You probably can't even see that on the stream. It's just a little smudge. So we're going to need version font to be bigger. There we go. Well, I don't think I have a definition of versioning yet. So for now, we're just going to say major version is 0, minor version is 1, and baby version is 0, right? So and we're just going to dynamically format a string. We don't care. This is probably something we won't draw unless you hold down a key or something. So text is sprint version %, major version, minor version, baby version, and defer free text. All right, there we go. So we're at version 0.1.0. I don't know when I'm going to manually bump that version number, but whatever. Any questions about what's happening? Everyone should go play Fidel. Is there a way to debug in runtime? There is, sort of. I don't tend to do it that often, but we do have an LLVM backend, and that generates okay debug information. LLVM's debug support on Windows is not as good as one would like generally, but we're hoping that they improve that further. They have improved it already. So I generally only do that when I have a crash bug that is not very easy to figure out. Okay. Let's start actually having a menu. So in the C++ version, I probably really am not going to copy much of the C++ version now that I think about it. Oh, I have sliders though. Maybe when we get to sliders, I'll copy that. Okay. So here's sort of the thing that actually draws the choices. So what we do is we call this change menu choice, which sort of responds to your input and puts choices up and down. And then item by item, I just sort of have a thing where I'm like, oh, if you want to start a new campaign. Oh yeah, that was the cool thing that I did, was the way we did confirmations. Anyway, so this is for start a new campaign, and this is for load a different campaign. And we might as well add those items, even if they don't really do anything yet. So I'm just going to copy all this and delete most of it, but sometimes even if you're not really using any of what you paste, it gives you a little bit of structure to work from. So we're going to say because it just reminds you of all the things that you need to do. So we're not going to do this yet. We're not going to be able to control the menu yet. And we already did the rendering 2D right-handed up here. Although unit scale, oh, I guess we'll have to clean that up later. Anyway, so this is just drawing a title, which we already did. My variables are all named different things here. We don't use the F in this language. All right. So stride is 1.7. That sounds fine. I don't know why we did that. I guess because we added a new menu item, I needed to adjust placement. Okay, so item color, yeah. Item color is vector for KKK1. Do I have a floor function? I think I do. Okay. So then our font, we haven't said what the font is. That's going to be, okay. Menu item, resume game. Music. Would it be possible to increase the font size in the editor? Are people having trouble reading Emacs? Let me. Oh, come on. Windows will not let me save the file over where it is. And now the autosave is, so now I'm just going to copy it back. Fucking Windows. I'm trying to get work done. I don't even know if this is right. I'm going to have to copy this like every time. Because I don't even know where else to put .emacs. Okay, that's bigger. Yeah, well, a lot of people said it's fine. I don't know, whatever. Well, I'm going to try running with the bigger font size, and we'll see if it annoys me from not being able to see enough code. I do think it's helpful for people watching along if they can read it a little more easily. Yeah, but I don't want to set environment variables just to use an editor. That's stupid. It's from the 70s or some garbage. All right. It's like you can't possibly edit text without going and editing unrelated environment variables. That would be absurd. Don't get me started on Linux. I'm not going to start ranting about Linux. I'm going to get work done. So, okay, I'm just going to leave this here for now. This variable doesn't exist, so it's going to complain about it when we get there. So this is pretty good. And then we're not going to respond to input yet. So we will in a bit. But these hard-coded menu enums are part of what's inconvenient about this menu that I want to work around. I seem to really prefer directly drawing things rather than going for the abstract way, storing menu entries on data structures and having some general way to render them. Yes, that is because I have decades of game programming experience. All right, so let's see what it complains about. Well, let's make a few things. So asking for restart confirmation is something that I set. So basically, when you go to start a new campaign and you hit enter, then it asks, are you sure you want to restart? And instead of popping you to a new page, I just keep the menu where it is, which is cool. So we're going to have that here. What else do we need? I mean, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that's undefined that we have to fill in. Well, we need draw item somehow. So let's just go ahead and write that. X float, Y float, color vector 4, index is an int. And let's just do the same stuff. No, let's do this same stuff because let's draw it in the middle. Drawing it in the middle. Oh. Oh no, because I have font text. So back buffer width minus width divided by 2. Well, when I call draw text, do I pass? Yeah, I do. I pass the center. So, because I want the items to be centered. So draw item. This is the Y of the baseline of the item, but this is the Y of the center of the thing. So we say center X minus width divided by 2, right? Yeah, that's pretty simple. This will get more involved later because, to make things more visible, like which item you have selected will change the colors of various menu items and stuff. So what does it complain about? Oh, I forgot a new line in my error report somehow. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's Windows carriage return line feed or something. It's confusing the error outputter. Wow. All right. That's a complete failure of an error message. Let's just fix some things. Oh, okay. So here's another confirmation. And then we've got these enums here. So we're using, let's go to the CPP file. We've got these like menu quit, menu restart enums, and I don't want to have those by the time I'm done today, but just to get things bootstrapped, I'm just going to use them. So I'm going to say This is an enum. Do I use that one? No. It's not really idiomatic in this language to have the extra enum like you do in C++. All right, better error message. Unable to parse a statement. Oh, because I used the arrow instead of a dot. Font was used before declared. Yeah, let's declare it before we use it. Menu resume is not. That's weird. And effect. All right. Let's fix. Whoops. I'm getting confused about. Integer versus float. Oh, because draw text. You know, I have a little bit of a split mind about whether draw text should take float parameters or int, but the fact is that if you try to draw with this kind of a text rendering system where you're rendering text that's sampled directly into a texture, you only really want to draw on pixel increments because that's what makes the anti-aliasing correct. Why is menu resume? Oh, because I accidentally pasted a 74. What? That must have been me flailing still. Wait, what? Oh, because, okay. Because we're not, enums work differently than in C++. So we're going to say, these go into their own namespace, which is why it's not declared. So we're going to say using this dot members, which pulls it into our namespace. Type mismatch, wanted an int. Okay, after all that enum making, you know what, since I'm going to get rid of these, I'm just going to make them integers anyway. It's just going to be simple. Because these aren't going to last for even an hour. All right. Oh, that's C++ syntax. So music string is that. Restart string is that. Quit string is that. All right. Okay, so like I said, this global struct doesn't work. So I have to hook this into the current campaign state. Okay. So let's do that. So I have a campaign situation. I don't remember where the data structure is. There it is. So here's my campaign state. It's got a bunch of things in it. So I guess I'm going to do, so what kind of stuff do we want, does the menu want in our campaign? Music volume. That's the only one that we're using right now. Yeah, I mean, we want to save that in the campaign, so maybe in the future, do we save these values cross campaign for all users, or do we just right, so music volume is 1. So I'm going to get the campaign state. Oh, campaign state is attached to an entity manager because we have a separate one. Oh, this is, okay. This is no longer, all right. So the way that I usually do campaign state doesn't make sense for the way I've structured this game, actually. So I was starting to copy it, but we shouldn't have this in campaign state. Let's just have a thing called menu state that we put this in. And then we'll say, that'll just be a global for now that we're not even trying to save. And this will just be if menu state. So any kind of like long-term state we'll put in here, and then we can decide what to do with it. Right, so I don't need this anymore. All right, what's going to happen there? Hey, look, we've got a bunch of menu items. So that's pretty good. We can't actually interact with them yet, but we have them. Any questions? I feel like a warm beverage, so I'm going to start a tea up, a caffeinated tea, if you want to roll some questions in. When drawing, do I have to avoid switching vertex array objects or shaders too frequently for performance reasons? Yes, games have to worry about that a lot. However, in something like a menu, you generally don't care that much. Because, you know, maybe if we draw a cool 3D scene as the background of the menu, we'll care. But for this stuff, we don't care. Hope you will stream creating the docs. That would be kind of fun. I don't think I'll be making docs for a long time, documentation, but yeah, that seems like a good idea. Is the team going to relocate to Seattle? Probably not. All right. So let's get rid of this extra hello sailor here. I have to Alt F4. Because remember, I was just doing that as a test. And then I feel like our menu could start a little bit higher up the screen. I don't know. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that's for the version. We don't want to put the version higher up on the screen. We want to put the regular stuff. Oh, that's too high. Why is the other hello? Did I undid the deletion of the other hello sailor? Or I didn't delete it correctly? Maybe I just didn't delete it correctly. Expert programming, everybody. All right, so what does that look like? Okay, too high. All of this, like I said, all of this has to get more sophisticated later to deal with dynamic aspect ratio adjustments. Let's make the stride closer. And let's make the body font smaller. Okay. And actually, let's drop it down further again. All right, that's not the worst. Is there a simple approach to avoiding switching drawing context via batching or something else? Yeah, you batch or something else, and it is not, there are, I mean, you could do a simple approach, but it won't get you that much speed. Like the things that games do to reduce the number of draw calls are just completely bananas. It's where a lot of the effort programming a 3D game goes these days. And my tea is ready. Well, the water's ready. Okay. What OpenGL version is this game using? I don't really know. It's like 3 point something. I don't care that much. We'll care when it gets ready to ship it, but when we ship this, I don't think we're going to be using OpenGL for rendering. I think we'll use something else. Okay, so we've got our menu screen. This is great. And now I want to respond to the arrow keys. Okay, so right now, the structure of this game so I've got this read input function here, or procedure, and it does a bunch of stuff with input, but you know, for the most part, all of this stuff is game mode stuff. Except for the pressing of escape, right? So we're going to factor this out. If we get a quit, if we get an escape, right? Otherwise, if, so toggle menu, if program mode is program mode.game, handle event for game event, else if program mode. I can't type today or any day, not editor, menu, handle event for menu, right, and then, wait, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is, oh, yeah, okay. So the thing is, we're going to have to factor some of this stuff out as well. That's fine. Well, we don't really have to factor it out. We have to move the variables. So these are locals, and I'm about to break this into multiple procedures, so these can't be locals anymore. That's fine. Or unless I made them closures or something, but we don't support closures right now. Okay, so this is going to be handle event for game. And I don't remember what this struct is called. It's just called capital E event. All right, so where's this thing I pasted? Handle event for game is events, right? So we do all this stuff, and we're just gonna factor that out. Handle event for menu, we're gonna put in menu, and it's not gonna do anything yet. Well, we might as well do that because we're gonna use that. Well, no. Okay, now I remember why. Okay, yeah. These are for interfacing with the video game mode, which is also why I couldn't make them private. I remember now how this works. Okay, so handle event for menu is going to do stuff here. Otherwise, if we're in the game, we do this stuff. Now, in here, so for example, if you hit Z, we want to undo a move that you did. So we increment undo count, which is what this stuff was. So we want these here. And we'll reset them every time. Yeah. So they're global now. We'll put those at file scope. What did we forget? Pointer versus non-pointer. Oh, you know what? This should just be. There's no reason, oops, for a game. There's no reason to pass a pointer. This is just me being used to using C++ all the time. But we're not going to modify this event, so it doesn't need to be a pointer. Okay, so we lost the using. So this using was only applicable to this stuff in the game, but it was up earlier in the procedure. And then these things switch to game mode. Those are kind of like the undo variables, which need to be here. Well, and this can be an int. And this, what is the type for a game mode? It's that. Undeclared identifier, handle event for menu. That's weird. Handle event for menu. Uh-oh. Do I have a compiler bug? It should see this and work. Oh, I'm at file scope. I need to, so when I get an error message like this, it needs to hunt in the file scope and say it's undeclared because you left it in file scope, right? Because otherwise people could pull their hair out figuring that out. All right. Okay, so it works. And when we're in game mode, we can still control the game, which is good. So we didn't break anything. Whoops. We didn't break anything, and now we're in a position to actually do something when we're in the menu mode and receive input. Someone hasn't seen me talk about popular games. Look, if I talk about popular games, I'm going to just say things that make people upset. I probably don't like whatever game you like. That's just the way it is. There are some games that I like. They're not the most popular ones usually. Yeah. This tea is a little too strong. I do like Steven Sausage Roll. No, I don't like Mario 64. I mean, I haven't tried playing it in many years, but I didn't like it back when I tried playing it. I didn't really play Mario 64 far enough to get to any of the parts that people say are really great about it, because I couldn't, like in the first level or two, I just couldn't take it. I have not tried Owlboy. Okay, so I want to respond to key presses. That's what those are called. So let's go back for a second to player control, and we'll give ourselves a little more code to copy from. So, whoops, for menu. So if you press arrow up or arrow down, we will advance menu choice. So down is going to be +1, and up is going to be -1, right? And then we're going to have a for now, okay, for now it's just going to be an current menu choice int, right? So advance menu choice delta is an int current menu choice plus equals delta. And then, so we're going to have a hard-coded number of menu items. For now, but we're going to get rid of this in a minute, like I said. Okay, so current menu choice is delta. If current menu choice is less than 0, current menu choice plus equals menu items total, right? And if it's greater than or equal to, whoops, not plus equals. If it's greater than or equal to menu items total, current menu choice minus equals menu items total, right? Okay, whatever. Let's space this out. Okay, that's it. And then when we draw item, we'll say item color is color, right? But if index is equal to current menu choice, then we'll change the color. Item color equals make vector for red, right? Red. That didn't work. Why didn't that? Oh, because we passed the wrong argument. So we want item color. Hey, oh, it's not, it's wrapping backwards correctly. I must have said plus equals when you go off the end. Right, so I'm not checking that it's only a press event, so the menu item is moving twice, like when I press and release. Okay. Yeah. So let's go look at player control again. Yeah. So event.keyPressed tells us, where's our event? We already checked that. So if it's pressed, we ignore release events. And then minus plus, this evaluates to an expression that has no side effects. So it's minus menu items total. There could be a compiler warning in a case like that, I suppose. All right. So now we wrap each way. We've got a little bit of color clash because this red doesn't go with this blue very well. But we've got a menu. I did play the original Mario Brothers a little bit. I just never like really played it. I never owned the game. I played it at my friend's house like slightly, right? Well, that's actually not so. I never played Super Mario Brothers very much, right? Mario Brothers was an arcade game, if I remember correctly. And I played a bunch of that, like the one where it's a 3 or 4 level thing and you control Mario and Luigi, and you know that one? Which one was that? Let's Yeah, I played a bunch of this game. But I never played the home Nintendo games. You guys know this game, right? Anyway. How complex is my font rendering methodology? I just right now bake the individual glyphs into a font and then reproduce those. So the downside to that is you don't get sub-pixel glyph rendering, which at 4K displays and stuff like that is less of a concern, but still, when you try to draw small text, it starts looking really bad if you don't have sub-pixel placement. Or you can draw it sub-pixel, but then your anti-aliasing is messed up. And then you start getting into things like, oh, I'm going to bake alternate versions of the glyphs at pixel offsets and stuff, and that's no good. So a different way to do it is, you know, using the sign distance field stuff or something like that. I'm not doing any of that right now. The problem with a lot of these methods is that they require pre-computation, whereas I like being able to just render any string in any language. I suppose you could do the pre-computation in the same, like live, but it might not be fast enough. So I'm sticking with this for now. Like this, you know, having only 1 pixel accuracy to your text placement is totally fine at sizes like this and resolutions like this. And even back in Braid, which was 720p, it was fine. You know, it only gets bad when you try to draw really small text. Could I make the text wobble when selected? Well, I probably should do something to make it more interesting when selected, but I don't know if I like wobbling. I gotta fix these colors. What would be a good color? How about like a more of a golden color? Let's run Photoshop for a second. Photoshop is so slow. This is a supercomputer that I'm using here. And like it takes you 45 seconds to start up. I can't believe it. And then you're giving me this crap, like, just work, please. All right, so let's just try. I'm not very good at using Photoshop, but we want to, where's the magic wand? There we go. Let's just, not contiguous. All right, and then, right, so what looks good? No, not that. Why is it adjusting everything else? Okay, hold on. I don't know what happened. All right, adjustments, hue saturation. I kind of want a nice gold. Like that's pretty good, right? Maybe that's not bright enough, but we can back it. Oh, we'll back it with white, which will be sweet. All right. Or we'll back it with a lighter gold. Yeah. So, oh, and we can make the backing do something. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm just going to pick that as my color for now. We'll eyedropper this. And how do I actually see what... Does anyone know how I actually see what color this is? 2 255, 173, 0. So 173 over 255. All right, so let's make sure we got that. Okay, so this is our running game, and we've got that. So now, here's something I like to do. So if the index is equal to the current menu choice, we do set the item color, but also draw an extra background item. So we'll say offset is int of font.character height divided by 10. This is just a guess. And we'll draw the text first at backing color. No, it's white. Backing color is lerp from item color to white of like 0.8. And I'll show you why I'm doing that in a bit. And then plus offset minus offset. That's a little too far, but it's right in principle. So let's say divided by 40. That's kind of cool, right? All right, so we'll also strobe that color. So the way that I know what time it is there's this clock that's sort of in a core data structure that gets updated every frame. And I can do something like, if you want to strobe something with time, an easy way to do that is to call cosine of it or something, right? So I'm going to say t is cosine of now times 2. We're going to speed it up. We're going to speed up the strobe, right? And then we're gonna square t because you want only positive values, and we'll give it a little bit of a sharper strobe. And let's say t equals 0.4 plus 0.6 times t. So, and then we're going to change the backing color based on that. So we're going to strobe between the item color and white by some amount from between 0.4 and 1, accelerating toward the 1, because that's kind of what cosine does, right? It's a little subtle, but you see what I'm going for. We could maybe make it 1 pixel more or faster. Let's make it super fast just to illustrate, because I don't know how well you can see that on the stream. If I say times 20, it's going to be hella fast, right? Oh, that's too fast. Can't even see that. Times 8. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see that on the stream, but now I feel like this would be more effective if, let's make the offset a little bit bigger, and then let's have it not go exactly to the color of the text. Let's have it go to something brighter in hue, 255, 222. So non-white is 222. So now the background will always be brighter because it's more of a yellow. Oops. All right. That's kind of weird looking. I don't know if I like it, but it was just an experiment. It's too far now. I need to make it smaller again. Okay, so I'm going to make that back to divided by 40. That's pretty good. I feel good about that. Eventually, you know, we'll probably animate the color of the foreground. I mean, well, if you guys want entertainment, I'll just swap these. This is stupid. Why am I doing this? But, you know. Woo, that's much more active. Although, actually, you know, that doesn't look too bad. I don't feel like I should go all the way to white. I was just goofing around, but this looks pretty good. Right? Ship it. I'm not going to go all the way to white. Not quite. 5.5, 5.4. That's probably going to be too subtle a difference to notice. Oh, no? All right. This is a sine wave right now. Yeah, my menus are aesthetically vanilla, but don't worry about it. For now, I'm just trying to program the menu. Deciding how it really looks is a thing that'll happen later. I do like simple menus, though, it's true. But I feel like for this game, we might do something cool in the background of the menu. All right. Anyway, that just goes to show you how not hard it is to do this stuff and make it look good. But like, the other thing about this is, isn't this just already starting to look nicer than what you get out of some cruddy widget set? You know? Like, this is why, I mean, we haven't even really started to do anything cool yet, and it's already just shows the potential for being nice. All right, so now I want to respond to when people press enter. To do that, I want to solve the hard-coded menu item problem. Try tangent? Oh yeah. No, let's not try tangent. Okay. Let's make quit work, because if I make quit work, then I can check this in, and the rest of the team will be able to quit the game, which will be good. So let's do that. Now I believe, let's just look at what the C++ version does when you quit. I believe we ask for a confirm. Maybe we won't even ask for the confirm yet. Yeah, so we asked for the confirm. Oh, we already copied this code. Right, so we copied all this. Sorry. So this is in the stuff that I commented out. So if we're on menu quit, if we already were asking for a confirm, then we save the campaign and exit, right? Otherwise, we play enter, and then we set asking for quit. And we turn off the restart confirmation in case, yeah. We actually probably should turn that off at a different time. Okay, but anyway, like I said, I want to be able to drop menu items in and out. So instead of having these hard-coded enums for all these states, the first thing I'm going to do is redefine them to be integers, index, resume, and they're all going to be -1 to start. This is going to get a little bit interesting, but yeah. So music index restart is -1. So what's going to happen is I'm going to assign indices as we draw them, and then we'll respond to input accordingly. I don't know. We might have to deal with some one-frame latency kind of issues to avoid that kind of issue, but we'll see. Do I have Notepad++? No, I don't know what that is. And menu items total. We'll initialize this to 5. Okay. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to say index resume equals draw item of this stuff. And draw item is just going to increment which index we're using, right? Index music equals this. Index restart equals this. Index load, did I call it load? Load game. I'll just call it load. It's too long. Index load equals this. Index quit equals this. So this is just going to and we're just returning this for convenience. We could like keep track of this in all kinds of ways. We're just going to increment this and return it, right? So we assign those values, and I believe that, oh, right, I didn't take out this parameter. Drown. Oh, we took out menu items total, or capital. We're now in lowercase menu items total. Oh, also there. There's probably an Emacs way to lowercase text, but again, I don't know what it is. All right, so we're still working. This is fine. And then, okay, when so we're going to go into player control just so I remember what is it called, enter? Oh, I don't have one. Okay, so let's look at input. Okay, so we have enter is key code 10. So if key is equal to key code.enter, handle enter. We'll also, later we'll add cases like, did you press the gamepad button and stuff, right? So where's my, so handle, so advanced menu choice, we'll put this next to advanced menu choice. Handle enter, and that's going to have all this stuff. Although, you know, I'm not totally sure I like factoring this out. So you'll notice the way I did it before is I had this pressed action button, which is just sort of a way of asking, did we press enter this frame? Or the gamepad button or whatever. And factoring this into a separate procedure, it just sort of increases the distance between these things and makes it less easy to do intimate communication between them. But I'm going to start this way anyway, and we'll see what happens. I don't have a switch statement in this language yet because it's been low priority. So I'm going to say choice is current menu choice, just to give us a small name for that. And then, right, so if choice is equal to index quit, this is the only one we're going to worry about right now. We're going to make it work, and then we'll work for the rest. And we're not even going to ask for confirmation yet. We're just going to leave all this here commented out. We're going to leave all this here commented out. And we're just going to say, okay, we're not going to play sound effects yet. Instead of exit 0, let's do it the official Windows way, which I believe is to say post quit message. Is that how it works? Yeah, so we'll just say post quit message of 0. I don't know if I have that. In fact, I suspect I don't have that defined. Yeah, so we're going to have to add this. Now you get to see how the sausage is made. So So if we're on Windows, right now I don't even bother putting this in a separate file. I just, in one of the commonly included core modules, I just define all this Windows stuff. So eventually there'll be like a, this is the Win API situation. So anyway, post quit message is, well, there's another message thing. So we could say, oh, that's format message. That's a totally different kind of message. Where's some Windows stuff? Where's some Windows stuff? Okay, get desktop window, whatever. It seems fine. So post quit message is something that takes an S32 and returns void foreign, and it's in user 32. So that's basically how you interface with things, and now it's declared. All right, let's see if we can quit. I might have done something wrong, but I'm about to hit enter. Ready? Ready? It didn't work. Oh, why didn't it work? Okay. Like I said, it's a pain to use the debugger, so I'm gonna oh, you know what? We're probably not responding to WM quit correctly. Let's just see what happens if we set should quit game. Nope. It's probably staying -1 or something. Let me just check my code here. Indexes, menu items drawn. Yeah. Index quit is 5, 0, 1, 2. It's off by 1. That's the problem. Right? Okay. We want to return index. We want to return what it was before we incremented it. There we go. See that? Escape, down, 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 enter. Boom. Okay, let me take out this print. Let's try just posting the quit message. Okay, that doesn't work. So we're not responding to quit message right now, but let's not worry about that. You know what? Screw it. I don't like post quit message. So the whole reason I did this is so we can quit our own way. Okay. Quit. And you know what? Resume is stupid. Let's get rid of resume. You can just hit escape if you want to resume the game. Okay, we'll surprise the rest of the team. Next time they hit escape to quit, they'll see a menu. Keep resume. Why do you want to pick resume? Why? You like everybody likes having a resume option? You just hit escape to open the menu. Don't you have to worry about the calling conventions when calling Win32 from the new language? No, like right now, I'm assuming x64 only. Later, when we want to support 32-bit, if we want to support it, we can worry about that stuff. But under x64, all calling conventions have been unified because most of that stuff was stupid anyway. I mean, it mattered a little bit when CPUs were a lot slower. Okay. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and enhance the menu. You don't need resume for gamepad because you just re-hit start or whatever you popped open. Everybody wants resume. Fine, we'll put resume back. Everybody wants a stupid resume. Fine. Are you happy? Look, resume. In fact, okay, before I take a break, let's make resume work. If choice is equal to index resume, okay, look, we resumed. Are you happy? Are you happy we resumed? Now we quit. Okay, now we 5-minute break. Are there questions before we move on? Besides, should I eat cookies? Are you sure you want to resume? Yeah. I'm not really accepting resumes right now, unless you're the most awesome programmer. Have I started learning Vulkan yet? Nope. I might not. I just have a lot to do right now, so that kind of thing is not totally on my priority list, but a learning Vulkan stream might be an entertaining thing to try and do. What are those cookies? They're 365 vanilla sandwich creams. Why no dynamic reload yet? Because I'm building a whole programming language and stuff, and you know, there's just a lot to do. So dynamic reload of code is further down the list, and I haven't done it yet, but I want to do some game programming, so that's just how it is. I don't know when I'm going to release the compiler. We're getting closer than we were, but more stuff needs to happen. I will do handmade compiler at some point, but I don't know when. Yeah, I live in Seattle right now, and the company is in San Francisco, and that's how it is. It's weird, for sure, but that is how it is. What's the game about? I don't really want to get into that. I don't want to announce a game on a stream. That's weak sauce. Yeah, I'll get to work on that tower syncing. Okay, programming. So let's do that confirmation. So really, if we're quitting, if we're asking for confirmation already and you say quit, then we'll quit. Otherwise, we'll say this, right? So now, so if I say quit, it says quit, are you sure? And then I have to do it again. Now, I was saying that I wanted to okay. So after we're done drawing the menu choices, or no, after, so if the player moves off a critical menu item, okay, so basically, if asking for quit confirmation, or no, let's just do it this way. This will be really simple. If current, let's do this. choice, again, let's just copy and paste this. Choice is current menu choice. If choice is not equal to index quit, asking for quit confirmation equals false. And then what was our other confirmation? Oh, restart. Okay, so now, if I'm on quit and I'm confirming, if I move off, it'll unconfirm. See? There we go. So that's pretty good. And we'll commit that, because why not? So now, when we do a confirm, I want to add a more of a graphical situation, right? So right now, if we say here, it changes the text, but I would like to change the color of the item as well, like strobe it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, what's the best way to do this? Actually, okay, before I do that, let me just paste this here, because I'm going to use this in a minute, but we don't need it yet. Let's do the same thing for restart, because we want that. But what do? We don't set... For now, we don't actually do anything. Okay. So... there. So now we have a confirm on restart. Oh, and then yeah. Oops. So there's that and that. So we have two confirmations. So now I want to yeah. Okay, so I want to have these like light up red when you ask for a confirm. So I'm going to say there are more variables. And if we had a lot of confirmations, we might like factor these into a higher level concept. But for now, there's just two. So I'm going to say time of and then we'll say, time of quit confirmation equals now. And when we draw a menu item, we'll take an optional argument in time and we'll say here time of restart confirmation and here time of quit confirmation. Oh, time of So still no visual difference. We just added a little more structure to do what we wanted to do. Okay. So here we'll say, remember we had our draw item where we did this gold stuff. We will say delta, let's just all do this all inline down here. So I'm going to change this. So remember, backing color comes from these two colors, non-white and white. And I'm going to change non-white depending on what's going on. We'll see it. This might not quite look right yet, but you know, whatever. So if confirmation time is greater than or equal to 0, right? We'll get what time it is. We'll say delta is now minus confirmation time. If delta, oh, you know what? Let's just do this. We'll set this to the default value. Non-white is that color. If delta is less than 1, this is going to be ugly, whatever. Okay. So let's just see what happens there. So start a new campaign. Oh, it went purple for a second. And then, so basically it goes purple and then comes back. Really though, it's not as noticeable as it should be for several reasons. One is because if you're going really white, then oh, well, okay, hold on. I'm also, because we're lerping between non-white and white only for the. Okay, hold on. This is not the background color anymore. It's the front color. So let's just get that clear. Let's just make this red for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to say t limit so this is the stuff that we're doing down here. So we're going to say t equals t base plus t limit. That's not a good name. T range. And then we'll lower t range here. T range equals O dot 2. So we really we'll constrict it. We'll pop it when you. That's still not that good. Oh, and that's not. Yeah. So when the red, you kind of just get this tomato color when you blend the red with white. It doesn't look so good. So maybe we should blend it to. Blend that to violet. We'll say white. We'll lie about what white is. What's violet? Violet. Okay, that's better. So now what we're going to do, it's still not great, but we'll make it cooler over time. Still kind of an ugly color. The violet is not that good, honestly. So now though, here's what we'll do is we'll set a maximum amount of time, right? Like let's say flash, this is not exactly a flash, but we'll call it a flash. Flash duration is going to be 1.0 seconds. And then we're going to have some variable s, delta divided by flash duration. Okay, now if, and then, do I have fabs? What is it? So square root will turn, you know, a linear thing into more of a hump thing. So it's just to give it, yeah. All right. Okay, so we're not actually using that value yet. So we have this s parameter that goes from 0 to 1 in kind of a square root shape. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to say non-white, instead of just setting it to this color, oh. So right now we're just going to work on the fade out part. So we want it to start, so our delta, right, starts at the time, so it starts at 0. So our s is going to start at 0. We want to flip it around. Instead of going from 0 to 1, we want to go from 1 to 0. If you've done this kind of thing, you know what I'm talking about. So we go from lerp, from non-white to this by s. White is going to be lerp from white to this by s. T range is going to be lerp from T range to 2 by s, right? So this is going to give us an immediate change when the action happens, and then it'll slowly kind of ramp up. Actually, instead of square rooting, because I'm taking the 1 minus, that flips over the square root shape so it falls off quickly. We'll see what that looks like, but I think I want it to fall off slowly. Yeah, that kind of falls off really quickly. So instead of square rooting it, we'll square it. And that'll fall off more slowly because we're 1 minusing it. Yeah, see that? That's starting to look good. We just need better colors. What do you guys think about color here? Because we're kind of using blue for the background, so we can't, blue is not going to be an alert color. Orange maybe isn't far enough from yellow. Red is ugly in this case. Green, bright green. What do people think about radioactive green? Green. I feel like orange isn't going to be that different. Let's try green, just to see what happens. And again, we're not going for really nuanced colors here. We're just gonna, oh, remember we sort of need 2 kind of shades, right, to alternate between. So we're gonna go maybe like green to cyan. Again, these are total programmer colors. That's not the worst thing. That's not the worst thing. Like for total like work in progress, I mean, I feel like I want to tweak the color a little bit. Oh, you know what needs to happen? We need to reset the timer. So, you know, we have this slow strobe. So notice how like this strobe that's happening here is independent of when I move up and down through the menu. And I don't think that that's the best way to do it, right? I think I want it to snap Like, it would be nice if it snapped to white every time you move and then goes yellow, white, or something, right? So we want to have a timer that we reset, and when we do our cosine of what time it is, to generate this strobe between colors, we can subtract the last key press time, right? So let's do that, and we'll make it work for this, and then we'll also make that work for this, right? So we'll say last key press time is 0.0, so that's a float. And then where's our cosine? Yeah. Now, minus last key press time, right? And then change menu choice. No, it's not called change menu choice anymore. Let's delete this. What did we call it? Event. We were handling events. Advanced menu choice. And we'll say, what did we just call? Oh, last key press time equals now. And then we'll just do that here too. Redeclaration of now. Oh, duh. All right. All right. See that? See how snappy it is now? Right? Like, it pops to white every time I press. I totally did this in Braid or something, so it's like, in fact, we probably do this in every game, but I'm just showing, you know, how it's done. So it's like, it just gives you that extra, you know, polishing a game is like 10,000 tiny things like this, right? So now, yeah. So when we hit the confirmation, we're on the maximum. I guess we're on the maximum. We actually want it to be the opposite. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm not totally happy with the color, but it's all right. It gets your attention. It's like you did something. Text should rotate around the y-axis. You don't think it should go back to the same? It's playing all the time. Well, let's start toggling the music. It's playing all the time just because it's sort of the music for this level, and we're not messing with music as we go into menu mode, right? Like as the menu gets more polished, we'll maybe like have our own music or ambient background sound or something. In fact, we'll do that during the stream today, probably. But I want to, well, load isn't going to do anything for a while. Let's toggle the music. Let's make that work. Because that'll be interesting. Okay. All right, so we might make this a slider later, but for now it's just going to be if menu state.music volume. We're just going to toggle it between 0 and 1, which is kind of stupid, but like I said, we're not working too hard yet. All right. Music. So now the music won't actually, whoops. That's what I get for pasting code from C++. So the music won't actually toggle yet, but we should be able to say There we go. Music off, music on. I wonder if we should flash the color. It feels pretty cool to flash colors like that. What do you guys think? I could either actually make it toggle the music first, or I can make it flash color first. Let's make it toggle the music. Let's not get sidetracked. We can always make it flash color later if we want. All right. Okay, so this is all going to be interesting because I don't remember much about how music even plays in this game. I wrote it last year sometime. Let's start looking for music. Update music for current game mode. Play music. Does this have a music volume on it? No. Let's go to... So it's possible that the sound player has a separate music, what's it called? Mixer. Stop all music, find music stream. Get desired volume. Scale volume by category. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a category. We're going to do this the right way instead of hacking it, and we're going to make all this work. It doesn't have switch statement yet. Yes, it'll get added. It's just an easier thing to add, so I haven't bothered because I've been working on the harder features. Which is why all this time you see all these if equals, right? That's something you would typically in C++ have a switch statement for. I just haven't done it yet. All right, so we're going to say is equal to sound category music. Mix music. So props, ambiances, music. You know what? I'm going to replace this. There we go. So some of this sound player I did by search and replacing a bunch from C++ mode. So it's a little bit C++-y. Okay. Oh, we don't have a sound category. Where are my categories? They're in sound catalog? No. Wrong file, mixer. Okay. Well, let's search for where that is. Notepad, open in Notepad. Oh, that's not the right one. All right. So it must be in the modules. Now, this is one of the places where if I had like a fully Visual Studio'd up thing, I would just like search for the declaration of that symbol and I wouldn't have to do what I'm doing here. Okay, it's in Entity Manager, which is stupid, but whatever. I'll get refactored later. Sound category, music. All right. Now, when we play music, we need to set the category. And this is deprecated. So what happened was, in the development of like The Witness or something, we started by only having sound effects and music, and then audio people wanted more control over different categories, so I added the categories later. But this flag existed from before, like, yeah, long story. So let's make sure that works. It's not called category, it's called sound category. All right, so again, nothing new there. It's not actually gonna turn off the music yet. But we're close to having it turn off the music. So all we want to do is, now our first attempt at turning off the music, it's just going to be a hard like snap off and on. I'm going to plug my headphones into my PC so I can actually hear. Oh, sound category music, right. Yeah, this is why you want to use an enum, so that you don't use this kind of mistake. But because I haven't settled on a consistent way of doing everything. So the other reason to use an enum is because you get strong type checking, whereas with this, these are just like integers. So you could easily use one of these in place of one of these or something accidentally, and the compiler wouldn't catch the problem. So enums are better. How come I'm not hearing music now? I guess I killed the music, right? How did I kill the music? Nobody else is hearing music, right? Okay, good. Nobody else hears music. Let's just comment this out for a second. I want to figure out why the music died. The day the music died. Still none. It must be something, okay. Let me try this. I still don't hear music. What did I do? Do I hear any sound? I don't know if my sound's working like at all. Let me, I'm going to turn off the display for a second so that I can hide secret things about the game. Yeah, I don't have any sound at all right now. And I don't think that's due to, anything I did. It might be due to plugging in the headphones, honestly, into my PC. Like, this is where we start to be like, what? Wait, why are my speakers set to Samson Meteor mic? That is not okay. Okay, do you guys hear this now? It doesn't look like it. Device. Is that? Hello? Did you guys hear anything at all? Oh wait, sorry. I have to go back to the game actually playing music for a second. Not the digital output, there. So let me go back to the game. Okay. It's probably a little loud. All right, so we should be good on the stream, right? That seems really loud. Sorry if I've been blasting loud music for the whole stream. I wasn't listening because I didn't have the headphones on. All right. So I thought it was the code here, but it wasn't. So now this still should not mute the music. We're just verifying we didn't break the music. Yeah, okay, or the sounds or anything. So we're still not muting the music. But now we're gonna go into main, update music for current game mode, and we're gonna say, is it called mixer? I don't know. I don't know where I declare, it's been so long since I've edited this. I don't know where I declare an instance of this mixer. Let's hope it's called mixer. And what we're going to do is going to go into our menu here. And remember we had our menu state. So mix music equals menu state dot music volume. So we're just copying it from the menu state to the mixer every frame. We will do something more sophisticated than that. It's not called mixer. Let's do a search again. That doesn't sound right. Mixer, mixer, mixer. How is this thing instantiating? Oh, it's called sound player. Okay, that's, you know, because I kind of renamed things, but I didn't totally. I bet it's just called sound player. Yep, all right. So let's see what happens. In theory, maybe this works. We gotta wait till the music's really pumping. Wow. Oh, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? So that's curious. My guess would be that it's not actually. Okay, so let's make sure that it's not the menu value. So we have this mix music that we were just trying to do, but we also have a master volume. So we're gonna set that. Right, and we're gonna see what happens there. So we've got sound effects, music off. That's not working either. Usually I would be in the debugger at this point, but again, it's a little bit of a pain, so I suspect we're just not setting it correctly. Oh, wait. We're not ever calling this procedure. Oh, we only call this procedure when we go into a different game mode, which we're not doing. Okay, that explains everything. So we're going to have something, update music per frame. And we're just going to do this. Boom. Right, and then in the main loop, we've got, this is just all the stuff that we do. Oh, update audio. We already have an update audio. So screw it, let's just put it in here. Okay. Hey, the music went off. Now it's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. Okay, now, the thing about this is, it's not very nice to just straight up click on and off like that. It doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel professional or beautiful or anything. So like I said, polishing a game is like 10,000 little things. So we're going to do number 2 out of 10,000. All right. So instead of just copying it over, right, we're going to, okay, so we're going to say, actually, So I have this function that I use very often to interpolate called move toward. I'm going to give this a short name. I'm going to say current is whatever, we'll call it mix, right? Mix is that, and target is that, and I'm going to say mix is move toward mix target by amount. So move toward is just a function that sort of, it's like a lerp, but it stops at the end points. And it goes, instead of by a parameter, it's by an amount. So amount is usually the frame time, dt, times the rate. And we'll say the rate is, let's say, 2. So it takes like a half a second to go all the way on or all the way off. Actually, let's make it really obvious. It'll be a slow for now. The reason we're breaking this out into separate variables is we're actually going to tweak the variables under different conditions. So the amount is dt. I don't know if I have a dt. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have a dt. So dt. Yeah, we'll just say current dt. That's the frame time. You know, usually, okay, never mind. So one of the things that happens in games is you often want to differentiate between the time in the game and the time on the wall. And I don't remember where I defined these. Again, if I had a little IDE, I could just go to declaration, but I don't have that yet. Why is it not defined here? Okay, I do have all I needed to know was that I do have a real world DT. So this is like, regardless of your frame rate, in real time, we'll set that up here. And so it's that DT. You know, if you're doing something that has gameplay effect, like the strength of a charged shot or something, then you want that to use in-game DT and not real-world DT. Otherwise, you end up with the BFG 9000 exploit from Doom 2016. Okay. Hear that? It was a really slow fade out. Fade in. Fade out. Fade in. It's so much better than just snapping it. Fade out. It's a little too slow though. A little too slow. For stuff like this, I'm usually okay with linear fades. So, and I usually want things when they shut off to have a different timing than when they shut on or turn on. So on doesn't feel bad to me. On seems fine actually, but off is too slow. So for off, so we will say if target is less than mix, so if we're trying to go down, then rate equals 3. You don't even have to say .o, we just say 3. Wait, is that working? No, it's not, because I'm setting the rate afterward. Duh. All right. Thought that wasn't working. Any questions while we wait for the music to get pumping? If you turn it on and off really fast, then the current volume will just keep trying to seek toward the target. So you'll just get a volume in the middle. So there we go. We're going off more quickly, and then we're fading in more slowly. That feels good for now. This is pretty good progress. Anyone have questions? There is a then keyword, but it's totally optional right now. It's sort of to deal with syntactic ambiguity. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I did better than YouTube. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, we do need menu sounds. It's true. That's a good point. I don't know if I have sounds. Let's see if I have sound. I mean, I can always copy them from Braid or something. Oh, you know what? Do I even have Braid on this machine? Let me start checking out Braid. Okay, so let me just hide this for a second. Wait, I feel like do I not have Braid? How is that possible? I must have only gotten it onto the laptop. I have the witness, but I want to get Braid on here, so hold on 1 second. 1 second. It might take a little while. I don't know. It might take a little while. But let's see what we even have. I bet we have enough sounds anyway. Sound. No. Hey, menu. Menu. Let's copy those. Oh, not there. Sokoban. Data. Sound. I have to frickin' Windows, I hate you. General items. All right. Menu down, up. Someone's linking puzzle script games. Oh, I didn't know you made a puzzle script game. Check that out. Okay. Oh, no. I did play that way back, I think, actually. All right. So, let's go to, oh, wait, play sound. This is going to be like playing music, but we don't destroy other music. Oh wait, I already have a... All right. So we've got a routine for play menu sound. So when we press arrow down, we'll do some stuff. When we press arrow up, we'll do some stuff. And when we do enter, we'll do some stuff. And that stuff will be play menu sound of, wait, what? Menu enter 2. Menu up. Menu down. These are not the highest quality sound effects, but they're playing. And we probably want, like if something's a confirmation, we probably want to play an additional sound or an extra sound versus an action, right? You know, that sound, the enter sound, is way too loud. Normally with a fully built out engine, I have a separate sound tweaks file where you can manually control the audio of any individual sound effect by name, but I don't have that yet. So I'm just gonna make that subtle, and I'm gonna cut these down as well. And the nice thing is you really want to be able to adjust volumes of things without restarting, right? So that's usually what we have, but this is a new engine, so we don't have that. Okay, so this is quieter. That's quieter. Yeah, you guys, the microphone is pretty close to the keyboard. Let me take the keyboard further away. Maybe you can hear that better. I can hear it through my headphones. I do have a very loud keyboard. Here, you know what I can do? I can turn off the mic for a second, so you can hear the sound effects in all their glory. Well, I think the clicking is soothing, but if you want to actually hear the sound. Sorry guys, I left the mic off. Oops. I was just saying, there's one more thing that I want to do. Which is, where's my play sound? Oh, we do perturb automatically, which is interesting. So perturb here, when you're playing a sound multiple times, like those menu up or down sounds, it sounds better if you alter the volume and pitch a little bit every time randomly, but we're already doing that by default, so that's good. That's why it didn't totally grate on me. How much of this code would likely make it into the finished game? Probably the majority of what I did today. You know, it'll get refined and made better, but I'm not doing wasted work here. You know, I mean, the menu, the graphical menu of the layout of the menu may end up looking quite different than this. We might decide to left justify things and do them in a different font and have a background or whatever, but this is, I'm doing real work today. This is not, yeah. Oh, I already committed. So what I was just saying was, when the mic was muted, was that I had set apart a bunch of time for streaming, and this is all that I had planned to do, and it's done a little faster than I expected. I don't really have anything else I want to do on the menu right now. I mean, obviously the menu for the finished game has to be more developed, but like the rest of the game should get more developed first. So I'm going to take another break of a couple minutes, and then maybe we can talk about what I should do for the next hour or however much longer I'm going to stream. Yeah, perturbation on your sounds, it instantly makes them a lot nicer. It's like the best thing. Okay, I'll be back in a minute, and then we can talk about maybe what to do. See what's happening in chat. Something for my to-do list. You know, I don't really feel like working on the compiler today. Like the next compiler stuff that I have on the list to fix is there's a few compiler bugs that I found, and I just don't want to work on those right now. So maybe in a couple days I will, but I don't really, not in the mood right now. Save load? Maybe. The thing about save load, we could start doing the UI for that. I'm just not sure what it would be for this game. I haven't thought about it yet. I mean, definitely we could make a loading screen, like we could make a submenu for loading the game. I'm not totally sure, you know, the structure of this game is a little weird. So, although, oh, it's fine. It's fine. The back end part of loading is, I just feel really lazy today. I haven't taken a day off in like 9 or 10 days. And when that happens, I sometimes don't want to do hard problems. So, and serialization isn't really that hard, but I feel like I'll save that until next time, maybe. And also it would spoil some things about this game to show, because you have to show what you're serializing, and I don't know if I want to do that. So, but we can add a screen, like a different submenu for loading, which is going to be interesting because all that menu stuff that we just did, we can now, well, we want to generalize that somehow into different menu pages, and I'm not sure what's the best way to do it. Yes, switch statements are going to break automatically. The asset system for this game isn't anything special yet. There's not really anything to explain. I just load stuff. Because it's not a fully developed game engine, so it doesn't have all these complications that you do about like precompiling assets and packing them together and whatever. I just load loose files so far. Eventually that'll get too slow and I'll have to do that stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to do designing. Sorry, guys. It's a programming stream. This is not a dancing stream. It is a programming stream. I don't know what you mean by is a UI for sure. I mean, the programming that I did is programming toward the completed game, right? We could always change some of it, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't want to work on the compiler today, so we're not doing switch statements. We might eventually. That would be a good thing for a stream, is just implement a very basic switch statement, trying not to be fancy. Because, you know, one of the reasons I delayed on switch is, you know, do we like want to do pattern matching? Do we do strings? How do we handle strings and stuff? But if I just want to start just by duplicating the C version, for the beginning and just doing integers, it's really not that hard to implement, and that would be a fun thing to do. So maybe that'll be the next stream or something. Volume slider, oh, that's tempting. That's tempting, volume slider, because we could just do that. I mean, it would be a crappy looking slider to start. Pre-menu intro or fade in. I don't want to do that stuff right now. So any of that kind of work, like, so right now, I think what's being asked is, you know, when I hit the menu, it just pops to it, right? And sometimes you would like to have a transition and like the menu to come in and out in a cool way. We will likely want to do something cool. The thing is that any programming you would do for that cool thing is very dependent on what the cool thing is, and we don't know what it is yet. So it's not a thing that I'm going to program yet today. I don't want to do wasted work. I only want to do useful work. So there will be some kind of transition probably, like we're not just going to pop like this, but I don't know what it is yet. All right, I want to do a loading screen. Just because I'm going to have to at least kind of solve a problem here. Because what's interesting about what I just did is that, whoops, I'm in the wrong file. What's interesting about what I just did is this stuff is all global, which is possibly fine. You know, I'm just going to do a really brute force, ugly way of, oh, I could do some wicked metaprogramming. Oh, that's going to be amusing. Do I want to do that? That's, sometimes it would be an abuse of a metaprogram to do things. Configuring key bindings. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Let's at least add a key binding submenu as well. Well, I'm not going to do it right now, but we'll add it. So we'll just put it here. All right. So that's just a reminder to do a control screen later. But let's do the load screen. Oh, there's a thing that hasn't happened. Remember I set this max, where was it? I set this menu items total. And the problem is that I don't dynamically change that. So we want to say, what was this variable called? Menu items drawn. So we want to say menu items total is, but robustness, 1 frame lag, we have to draw first. Oh, potential 1 frame lag. handle input only after setting this on the first frame. In theory, whatever. It's like when you program games for a while, it's pretty obvious what that comment is referring to. So, okay, so now I can get to the bottom menu item, which is good. And I can add menu items and subtract them. So let's say I just comment out controls and music really fast. Or I'll just comment out 3 things because whatever, I'm on the PlayStation 4 and we have a more minimal menu. It should still work. Yeah. So there we go. It still works, which is more than I could say. Neither the braid menu nor the witness menu were that easy to deal with. So that's progress. That is progress. Okay, but now I have to figure out what exactly I want to do for going to a different menu page. I'm trying to think to what extent I want to make this general and to what extent I want to make it hard-coded. So certain things, really the only thing that we need to track based on what page of the menu you're on is, I think, the current menu choice variable. Because you know, if you go to a submenu and then pop back to the previous menu, you'd like to stay on the menu item you were on. And well, I guess also the menu items total. Like these 2 things we sort of want on a sub menu. Dude, I have so many snacks sitting here right in front of me. So let's do this. We're going to say menu page is a struct, and it contains these things, right? And then I'm going to say main is a menu page, and load is a menu page. We're not going to use load yet. But now, as soon as I compile this, I'm going to get compile errors because people think these are globals and they're not anymore, right? So what we also need is a current menu page, which is a pointer to a menu page, right? And when we enter the menu, toggle menu, if we're in game, we go to menu and we say current, what do I call it? Current menu page equals the address of main, right? So we're just going to do that. And you know what, though? We're going to change the draw procedure. So we had this draw menu choices here. We are going to have a draw proc on here. We're going to say draw is a procedure that returns void. We don't even have to put that much, but yeah. So, and then we're going to say in init menu, we're going to say main dot draw is draw menu choices. Load.draw is draw load. And we're not really going to do anything there yet. Actually, you know what? Let's copy more of this. So well, no, that's enough. Okay, so we'll still get plenty of errors. I just want to see where we're at. Okay, so all these current menu choices and draw load. Whoops. What did I do? Oh, draw menu. Why don't I just call this draw main and draw load? Draw main, draw load. All right. So current menu choice is undeclared. So we'll say using current current menu page, right? I hope that works, by the way. It might not work because I think I saw a compiler bug related to using lately. So line 142. We'll do that. And line 62. So here, instead of calling draw menu choices, right, we want to say current menu choice dot draw. Okay, and then not current menu choice. Sometimes I pick a name, current menu page. Sometimes I pick a name that sounds reasonable, and then it's, yeah. Okay, so line 235, current menu page dot current menu choice, and line 378. Current menu page. All right. Who knows what that's going to do? Hey, it all still works. Oh, I'm not doing anything when you hit load yet. But see, that's, you know, like people all talk about, oh, my mouse is flashing, I need to plug it in. You go to school and people all talk about like, oh my God, when you write code, you have to encapsulate and abstract everything because otherwise you'll poo your pants accidentally or something, you know? And the truth is, not really. You can always encapsulate and generalize anything at any time. So why not do that later when you know what you're actually doing, right? Instead of before you know what you're actually doing, and then you pick the wrong abstractions and everybody's sad. Because I didn't know exactly what I was doing when I sat down to stream today. I was just like, I want to make a menu. So, yeah. All right. So when people say load, oh, right. Okay, so there is still an unsolved problem here. But first, so if choice is equal to index load, we will say switch to menu load, right? I believe I called it load. Yeah. So switch to menu takes a page, which is a pointer to a menu page. And right now we're just going to say current menu page equals page. Now, when you switch the page, remember that I have all these variables that point at your index, and these indices are per menu. So right now I'm going to do a temporary thing, brute force reset of all indices. so we don't accidentally match the wrong thing. If someone spams a lot of input, like 2 enters in 1 frame, we can probably do this cleaner with metaprogramming or something. So you can imagine that I label all of these and I do some metaprogram that says reset everything that has a certain label. But for now, I'm just going to do this. So, all right. Hey, so this doesn't look like a separate screen because we're not changing the text up here. So let's put that text. Let's put the hello sailor text into a procedure first of all. So we'll say draw title of a string, right? And we'll just do all this stuff. So this is what I was talking about a long time ago about it's convenient to be able to just refactor stuff just straight up in your current procedure. I don't think I'm using any local variables there. Let's see. Draw title of text. No, I did. Oh, I did something. Oh, sorry. I'm still in C++ mode. All right. So we still have hello sailor, but now that I have draw title, I'm going to move that to global scope, and then I'm going to take this little bitty, whoops, that little bitty, and put it in draw main. And just do that. Right, and then in draw load, we'll say load sailor. So main, right, and then we go down to load sailor. So that is great. However, when I hit escape from the loading screen, I'm always popping back. So instead of saying toggle menu, I'm going to call it, so remember this is back in the general player input routine on the right. I'm going to call it handle escape, right? Because we don't always want to toggle the menu. If we're on the load screen and you hit escape, we'll pop back 1, right? So if the program mode is game, we go into main menu, right? Otherwise, if current menu page is the address of main, we go into game mode. Else, we'll just assume for now there's only 2 levels of menu. If we want to later, we can keep track of a stack of menus or whatever, but, oh, right. What was it called? Switch to menu. Switch to menu main, and that'll do everything that we need. Right? Okay, but we're calling toggle menu from there. We'll call that exit menu. Whoops. Exit menu. For now, it's like later if there's a transition, this would make a transition or something. All right. Load. Escape from load. Escape from there. Load. Escape. Music off. Resume. This is good. I mean, we've got a pretty functional menu. What you want to draw on the load screen gets complicated because, you know, like we did in the witness, I like to draw information about your campaign state so you can pick it or whatever, and we don't have that information yet because we're not saving it out. So like actually fleshing out this screen I think comes later. that might be the end of the stream. Let's take a couple more questions, and then I'll go out to a cafe and have a fine time. Anyone? Anyone have questions? Anyone have questions? This is where I look and find out that my mic has been off for an hour, right? What's my estimated window for release of the language? Everybody wants to know that, and I would like to know that. I don't know that. You know, there's a few more language features to do, not that many, I don't think, but then just working on robustness of the compiler, building out the standard library at least a little bit and stuff like that. It's going to take a little time, but not too much. We'll see. Oh, can I show move toward? Yeah, where is move toward? It's a very simple function. Let's find it. It might be in basic for all I know. No, main, it might. See, the problem is this doesn't show me any text, so I can't tell. Let's just look for it. Move toward. It's not there. It might be in draw. No. Actually, I'll search for the colons. Okay. Okay, so here it is. So it's just, and I didn't even parameterize it. Like you could imagine versions of this for vector 3s or whatever, but this is just floats. So if you want to start with A and move toward B by some amount, right? You say if A is greater than B, you go down and clamp it. Otherwise, you go up and clamp it, right? This is super simple. But a very simple function like that is a very good building block sometimes. You saw how quickly we were able to use that to do a good transition for the music, for example. Will my standard library be called STD? No. Why untagged unions over tagged unions? Because do I think the language will get released before this game? Yes, that is very likely. Is move toward a lerp? Not really. I mean, it's kind of like lerp, but this is not a parameter. This is not a 0 to 1 parameter. It's just like an amount in the space of A and B. And lerp, usually you don't clamp a lerp. You let it go beyond the endpoints if you go less than 0 or greater than 1, I guess. And here I'm clamping it at the endpoints. I don't use C#, so I can't comment on any scale from C to C#. Am I using any libraries? Yes, you can watch some of the earlier demos to see which libraries I'm using. Mostly STB libraries, but also free type 2. So when I draw the, oh no, I'm not using free type 2. Duh, I forgot. I'm using STB for that as well. So the font rendering is STB true type, and I'm using STB Vorbis for some of the music. I'm using a ton of Sean's code here, actually. How did that megaton idea work out? I have not tried it yet, so it may be a thing that happens in the future. It's such a big idea that other random issues around the compiler have to like settle down and be stable before I try something that big. You're an Android developer and you'd like to start developing games, but you don't know where to start. Do you have any resources to get started? I honestly don't know. Back when I learned, it was so long ago that everything was totally different. And all I can say is just search the internet, because way more information is available now than we ever had when I was starting. So it's got to be easier for you. So I wouldn't sweat it too much. Just get started and try some things. Like back when I started, it was very hard to get information at all. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming to the stream. If you missed part of the stream, I will post it to YouTube before the end of the day, probably. See ya. Oh, let's quit the game. Let's start a new campaign. Oh, that color change that we did today is so good. Look at that. It just fades out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's quality. Goodbye, everybody.